What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Laplace, you were attempting to trap us the entire time, damn you.
So we wasted little time in confronting our potential traitor, but Laplace was not thinking about him.
That's nuts. You messed with my spell. How is this even possible?
Laplace was totally perplexed. This didn't seem to me to be a trap on his behalf, so I guess he wasn't anticipating it either. A man came over to us as we nervously surveyed the situation.
Hey, Laplace. Thank you very much for your visit. I'm overjoyed to see you deceiving the demon lord Rimuru and his companions in this way.
Yuki was there, beaming, and wearing his imperial military outfit.
Boss? Wait, what's happening?
You can now stop the act. We'll win after the demon lord is gone from this place, right?
Shion and Soe were outraged by Yuki's statements right away, but Benimaru, and unexpectedly, Diablo, were able to maintain their composure while listening to him and Laplace speak. Actually, it was impressive to observe.
Did you guys also believe Laplace?
No. When they let down their guard, I was considering a quick way to kill them.
Hey.
Very well put, Sir Benimaru. Kill them before you are killed by them. It is a classic rule.
What sort of mafia organization am I leading here? That kind of classic rule does not exist in my nation. Dumbfounded, I convinced them to watch to see what happened. Shion and Soe were virtually oozing with murderous hatred, so I tried to calm them down. Laplace and Yuki's quarrel had become quite heated in the meanwhile. Laplace was practically pleading for his life while adamantly denying his claims.
Guys, please trust me. This time, I swear I didn't aim to offend any of you.
Naturally, the more desperate he became, the more suspicious he appeared. I have to acknowledge that Yuki truly put him in a difficult situation here. I made the decision to cease this charade because I felt bad for Laplace. I gave him a few pats on the shoulder and whispered, "Hey, calm down."
That guy is Yuki, but he also isn't Yuki, is he?
Huh?
Sadly, I have to presume that Kondo is manipulating him.
Damrata might have beaten him, or Kondo might have sneaked up on him during the battle. In any case, the enemy's inclusion of a mind control specialist was starting to seriously complicate matters. We would already be slitting each other's throats if I didn't think that.
Oh, okay, great. It's fun to trick other people, but when I'm the one who gets tricked, it really grinds my gears.
Gotta love that character. It appeared like the knowledge that I trusted him immediately energized him, but it did absolutely nothing to help our situation. We were still under attack and in a critical situation.
I didn't think you'd be able to see through it so quickly. I had hoped that you would become so disoriented and hostile toward one another.
Whether he was brainwashed or not, Yuki was still as mean-spirited as ever. That's probably how he truly is, and I like to think that I'm grown enough to not let it affect me.
I hate to inform your majesty that my plan has failed.
Well, that was just a pointless sideshow. Very impressive. I wanted to have a quick conversation with you before the battle started.
When Yuki spoke to the figure on the platform, it got up and started to move. Yuki humbly stepped aside to make room for him, showing that he was now an obedient vassal of Emperor Rudra. Though I shouldn't be overly optimistic about it, I couldn't fully rule out the possibility that it was all an act. Rudra was followed by Velgrund, who appeared to be with him. Aside from her obvious beauty, she appeared to be a typical human being, but it was obvious that this was done for concealment. I could see it for myself. She'd surrounded herself and the individual who was in front of her with a thin barrier, effectively blocking any interaction with the opposite side.
What a show of force. I don't think she's a fake.
I agree. Up close, it's great just gazing at her.
Benimaru retorted, nodding in agreement with my statement. However, not everyone responded the same way as we did.
You believe so? I've frequently trained with Sir Veldora, so I'm accustomed to the sensation. I haven't actually ever beaten him, though.
Shion, have you been working out with him as well? She must have meant genuine combat in the labyrinth when she said, training. I could only hope that she received some beneficial outcomes from it if they were battling to the death inside. But isn't it kind of pointless if you can't win? Although that wasn't truly a boast, she wasn't acting like a sore loser either.
Yes, this barrier is pretty spectacular. However, as Shion noted, I don't think there is much separating her from Sir Veldora.
Shion and Diablo seemed to have similar viewpoints. This raised the question of whether they didn't think Velgrund was noteworthy or whether Veldora was truly much more spectacular than I had assumed. Even Diablo, who is often confident, couldn't assure us of victory, so I wasn't sure. That was crucial. Despite everything, Diablo never lied to me, so he wouldn't pretend to be able to do something he's not capable of, and I knew what that meant.
I know this wasn't exactly in your plans, but I thought it would be interesting for two heads of state to meet.
As he spoke to me, Rudra grinned. He is actually Masayuki's long-lost twin, wow. But he had blonde hair that was practically dazzling, and he styled it a little differently. He also had blue eyes as opposed to Masayuki's brown eyes. The two of them actually had quite a few little variances, but despite this, they somehow gave off the same impression. And in fact, I remembered something strange Masayuki recently stated.
I've recently been concerned about my hair.
What, are you going bald?
Yes, the stress and everything. No, of course not. Recently, I've noticed that the color of my hair is lightening. It changed from black to a more brownish color.
Could it be that you're losing your melanin?
You believe so? I hope I'm not worried too much about it.
You know, the kind of issues with one's self-image that every young man experiences. Or at least that's how I perceived it, but for some reason, it suddenly sprang to me. It was a worry, but not one I ought to have been considering right away. I was now directly in front of Rudra.
You are correct. We had no intention of arriving here. However, I had something I needed to talk about with you.
Wonderful. Why don't you sit down?
Waving his hand, Rudra said. 2 chairs suddenly appeared in front of us. A magic trick of some sort? It didn't look like a chintzy trap or anything, but I have no idea how it worked. The atmosphere was important in this situation, so I sat down without thinking, Benimaru standing on my right and Diablo insisting on my left. Soe was close to Xian, who quickly moved into position behind me. Laplace, who was now clearly out of place, took a quick look around before settling into a position on Xian's left. After everyone had chosen their positions, Velgrin's playful voice greeted us.
Oh, sitting down first is not very polite manners.
Manners? I have no knowledge about that. When you told me to sit down, I immediately did so.
They didn't do anything wrong, Velgrind. He holds the same authority as a head of state in his capacity as a demon lord. We are equal, in my opinion.
Here's an actual emperor for you. He also appeared to mean it. How kind.
Well, if you're okay with it, I don't have any issues.
Velgrind also appeared to be susceptible to persuasion. I suppose she didn't give a damn. I hope she would quit threatening me in that way. As a result, Velgrind stood to his right while casually sitting in the chair opposite Rudra. I assumed that the 4 knights Bernie had told me about were the 4 guards lined up behind him and carrying god-class weapons. Finally, a man in an all-black uniform could be seen standing to Rudra's left. I assumed he was Damrata because he didn't appear to be Japanese. Yuki had the audacity to take a place next to him, making it apparent where he stood in this hierarchy. I had no qualms about labeling him my enemy at this point. The highest officials of the empire, with the exception of Kondo, were all present as a result. I also brought all of my senior officers, although we were currently significantly outnumbered. There were several dozen imperial guardians of the highest rank there for the empire, including 5 single digits and even Velgrind. To be completely honest, I didn't think we would win a fight. Additionally, they had Yuki. The statement that this crisis was unlike any other is not an exaggeration. Rudra's explanations led me to believe that this situation wasn't Laplace's fault and that it had all been staged from the beginning. It's amusing to consider how unsettling it would be to have things go your enemy's way in this manner. But I didn't let on how I really felt, maintaining my brash exterior.
I suppose you got one over on me today, huh? I thought about how people might be expecting us, but I didn't quite expect this.
It was a falsehood. I thought we were ready to take control of this situation since we were planning a surprise strike on their elite forces.
Don't try to be so humble. For me, it came as a complete surprise. The fact that there were neither survivors nor woken as a result of the Armored Division 1 deployed was beyond any of my expectations.
There was one, but Diablo ended his life. I wasn't going to tell him anything, but I thought whoever came up with that strategy was a true genius. Possibly quite inhumane, but nevertheless.
So who actually thought of the plan?
I softly questioned, not anticipating a response. Then, somewhat unexpectedly, Rudra told me everything straight from his mouth. He clarified that Lieutenant Kondo was the one who created the scheme. I anticipated that. But it turned out that the strategy was far more absurd than I had imagined. First, they'd awaken a few individuals from the invading forces, then pretend to retreat in defeat. If we pursued, the mixed corps would intercept us. However, this division would also be considered a hostile army because it was possible that they had already betrayed the empire. Once they were convinced that the betrayal had occurred, everyone would be instantly killed. That duty would fall to the marshal. But on the first step, that plan kinda broke apart, so Kondo made some significant adjustments. After allowing Yuki's crew to roam free for so long, ensnare and seize them. Even with what they learned from the Demon Lord Clayman, Yuki's treason was pretty much proved by this point. Destroy Yuki's organization, find out what he was planning, and then make any necessary revisions in light of that information. That left 60,000 people in the collected mixed core, who would later be sacrificed to create Magic Born. At this point, the Marshal would engage in combat and put on a show to get Guy and the others' attention. Any potential troublemakers would be apprehended and executed immediately. They had to focus all of their efforts on that one point because of this. The benefit of such showy actions was that they would give the impression that the imperial capital was poorly secured. Someone had to attempt to attack it, and it would definitely be a powerful force. They needed to be struck as hard as possible. The crucial component, the Marshal, the most powerful force in the Empire, would engage them because it is likely that the monster nation has run out of firepower by this point. They would seize the Storm Dragon, the most powerful pawn of all, while Guy's attention was diverted elsewhere. The long and the short of it was that it was logical to presume that the Demon Lord Clayman was also under Kondo's influence since they were receiving intelligence from him. Before, all I had were suspicions, but now it was obvious as day. But that wasn't even the most crucial factor. I was taken aback by the amount of information he shared, but let's not worry about it. There was one particular issue he raised that gave me the chills. Wait a minute, I thought to myself. How many Velgrins or Marshals would they need to execute their plan? That's correct. I had always thought it odd that Velgrind was let loose on the Dwarven Kingdom's eastern city, where the current conflict was raging. Who is the woman in front of me, then?
Detected. Her ultimate skill enables her to create multiple identical copies of herself. It is known as
parallel existence?
Despite my desire for them to be incorrect, I uttered the words Raphael gave me. But as always, reality was brutal.
You're aware of it, right? You are so intelligent.
The smile of Velgrind was both lovely and terrible. You know how it is, the more you want to be incorrect about something, the more right you end up being? My blunt assessment of this was, how the hell am I going to defeat that? It makes sense why Testarossa believed she couldn't succeed. I used to feel so confident about this because I believed that I could use Veldora to equal the odds. However, I now realize that I cannot even rely on it.
Hey anime fans! We're thrilled to announce that the first episode of Solo Leveling is now available on Anime Fan Narrations. Dive into the epic journey of Jinwoo Sung and experience the action-packed world of hunters and monsters. Click the link in the description box below to watch it now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing content. Enjoy the adventure.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Byakuya327, Ankit Kumar, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Jay Magsino, Recrol17, Bismarck Munoz, Arian Booker. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.